Hello and welcome everyone to another video about the 999 challenge. My goal today is to go ahead and go through with you a bunch of the little facts about this challenge. First of all, I want to do kind of a big overview of the challenge as a whole. What is it? And then second of all, I want to talk about the rules. And then additionally, I want to just mention some questions that are probably going to crop up about the challenge. I've wanted to do a video like this for quite a long time. The idea being is that this is a nice video I can point people to when they ask me, hey, what is the 999 challenge anyways? So the general idea behind the 999 challenge is I am trying to collect 999 of every stackable item in the game. For instance, I have some chests all divided up here into nice things. So right here, I have my first vegetable here, alphabetically, is amaranth, and I've got 999 of it. And things like amaranth, things like artichoke, things like beets, bok choy, cauliflower, even things in the fruits such as blueberries and hot peppers. All of these things are very growable, which means I can just plant them and eventually get 999 of them. Not all items are like that in Stardew. There's quite a number of them that are a lot more difficult to get. So if we switch over to here, for instance, I recently was able to acquire 999 galaxy souls, despite that being a very difficult task. It took me probably the better part of 30 years in game of nearly constantly working on it to eventually be able to get those. There are quite a number of items like that, and of course the most infamous one being the tea set, where I've only got 16 of the required 999. So one thing I would like to pop up really quickly here is my FAQ. So this should be linked in the description of the video, but the idea behind the FAQ is very simple. It's frequently asked questions. At the very top here, I have a bunch of links that are very useful to be able to quickly get between, which makes the FAQ a great place to go to. So this is a link to my spreadsheet. This is where I calculate the total number of items I need. This is a link here to my checklist, which tells me which items I'm done with and which ones I still need to finish. The next two here are blank copies of both the spreadsheet and the checklist. So if anyone else wants to download a blank copy, you can get them right there. And then I've got links to all my socials here. And then I have a bunch of frequently asked questions here that I can answer. So for instance, let's take my amaranth and my hot pepper that we were just looking at a minute ago here. You'll notice that this is silver quality and this is gold quality, but you'll notice that like I don't have all different qualities, and that's because for the purposes of this challenge, it is not required. The first rule basically of the challenge is that I have to get a single stack of every stackable item in the game. So it doesn't matter what quality it is. It only matters that I get a single full 999 stack of it. It has to be in a single stack. It can't be like 500 gold and 500 silver, or 499, I guess, but it doesn't matter what quality that stack is. I do prefer to get iridium quality when I can, just because I think it looks a whole lot nicer. Talking about the quality brings me probably to a good point to discuss the rules of the challenge in general, because there are a few that might seem a little bit odd, but I think are important to explain why they exist. Items that disappear after being used or by completing or failing a quest do not need to be stacked. So for instance, a good example of this is the prismatic jelly, where once you finish that quest or once you fail that quest, all prismatic jelly that you had disappears. So you can't really keep a stack of it. Another example of this is Q fruit. So the fruit that you get from doing the quest for Mr. Q, the beans and the fruit both disappear after the quest is over. However, two of the things that don't disappear are if you turn it into wine or if you turn it into jelly, you get to keep those. So I do need to stack those. Items that can be missed or skipped do not need to be stacked. So this is basically like kind of a catch-all for anything that if you're playing the game normally and you miss an opportunity to stack an item, basically like you pass a certain point and then you can no longer get that item, then you do not need to stack that item. This mostly exists for the secret notes, which are items you get after you get the magnifying glass. And you can find these secret notes and they tell you certain things about the game. But once you read one, you can no longer get any version of that secret note. So technically you could stack each of those notes to 999 before you read a single one. However, since this is something that you can miss by just going by it, I am including in my rules that you do not need to stack that for the challenge. So for the purposes of my challenge, I'm only doing single player items, which basically means that if you can stack an item outside of single player, then it is not required for this challenge. So this prevents a lot of very strange items. For instance, you can get a stack of each of the legendaries in multiplayer by just having each person that's new to the farm catch the legendaries. Rule number 5 says that no glitches or exploits that are unintended by the developer. We've got some little things here though. For instance, I allow animation canceling. Technically, it wasn't intended to be left in, but my kind of rule set is glitchless for speedrunning. So one of the things that's allowed for that is animation canceling. I'm allowed to reset a day. I think that was intended by Concerned Ape, but I just wanted to clarify that there. And then finally, if an exploit or glitch is the only way to get an item, then it is allowed for that item only. So basically this just allows me to get stacks I wouldn't normally be able to get without glitching or exploiting, as long as I don't use that glitch or exploit for any benefit. No use of the seed or predictors. This is very similar to those glitchless rules that I was talking about earlier. The glitchless rules don't let you use your seed or a predictor in order to like manipulate things and predict what you might get. So basically how that works is I can't use Blade's predictor, I can't use Mousy Pound's predictor. The things I'm limited to are the things I can do by just looking at my file and making spreadsheets. Vanilla game only. I do not use any mods or make any alterations to this file. I can use mods on testing files, so as long as it's not the file that I am working on for this challenge, I can make a copy of my file, for instance, and test things on it if I want to. But while I am doing the challenge, I cannot use any mods or anything along those lines. Now, as far as alterations to the save file go, I have been told that in order to use legacy RNG on my file, which I'm going to want to do when 1.6 comes out, hopefully soon, I will have to alter my save file for that, but I will not be changing anything like vital or important. I'm literally just going to make it so my file uses the same RNG it's been using since I started playing the game. One last thing I really want to clarify for this challenge is that I'm following the rules that I made for this challenge. These rules are not a requirement if anyone else wants to do the challenge. That's absolutely completely up to you, how you want to run the challenge. Plenty of people I know are using mods to play the challenge just for fun, or doing it their own different way, like they're getting quality or they're playing with multiplayer or different things along those lines. So I get this a lot. Are you crazy? Do you actually enjoy doing this challenge? So I do want to mention that, yes, I actually do enjoy doing this challenge. And it might seem a little weird from the outside that I might actually enjoy something like this. For me, this challenge has always just been a super relaxing thing for me. I know exactly what I'm going to be doing. I sit down and I play. Before I started streaming, I used to just watch other streams or watch YouTube videos or watch shows while I was doing it. It was just a nice thing I could do on the side as something I was working on. And now that I've started streaming, it's something I can do while interacting with this community I built, which is super awesome. I also very much enjoy the process of like coming up with strategies to get these items as efficiently and quickly as possible. I've been a challenge runner for a very, very long time. Pretty much since I started playing video games, I would find ridiculously stupid ways to play them. How long will it take to finish? Do you think you'll ever finish? Right now, this answer is kind of in flux because 1.6 is coming out somewhat soon. And as a result of that, whatever's in that update might drastically change my answer here. I can pretty much say with confidence, though, if 1.6 was not coming out, I would probably be finished in about a year to a year and a half. Do I ever think I finished? Yes. At this point, I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish. At this point, I have pretty much convinced myself that short of anything horrible happening, I am planning on finishing this challenge. A lot of people always ask for advice when trying this challenge. I jokingly say don't here, though, but it's very flattering that people want to try this challenge. I think it's a very time investment sort of thing to get into, though, which is why one of my suggestions is if you want to do something like this challenge, but not exactly this challenge, you should try doing a smaller version of this challenge. Like maybe get all the cooking done. The hardest items to get a stack of. I get asked this a lot, and truth be told, like all the items in this are very much hard is like a weird word to use because it's like nothing is particularly difficult. A lot of it is just tedious, and tedious isn't the right word either because that makes it sound like I wouldn't enjoy it. Another way to ask this question might be what is the most work, and that's kind of what I have decided to answer here. So I've already talked about the tea set. The tea set is an item that you can only get once per year at the Feast of the Winter Star. It's impossible to even get it once per year because certain villagers can't give it, and on certain years you can't even get one. I'll probably do a future video explaining in depth how I get the tea set, but suffice to say I have an RNG manipulation method. A lot of people also ask me what is the easiest item, and the answer is there's a lot of them. There's a lot of items in this game that you can just purchase, like bait, for instance. You can just buy bait from Willy for like 10 gold each. That's like 10,000 gold, which is not very much. Is it 5 gold each? Okay, I apologize. Bait is 5 gold each, so it's only 5,000 gold. Next up, we have the banana saplings, fossilized heads, golden coconuts. So the idea here is all of these things, well, at least these two, come from the golden coconuts. So every item in the golden coconut after you get the golden helmet has a 1 in 7 chance of appearing, which means on average, I need 7,000 golden coconuts to get 999 banana saplings and fossilized heads. Technically, there's another way to get banana saplings, but it costs 5 dragon's teeth each and is just not worth it. It's much easier to get golden coconuts, even though golden coconuts are expressly pretty difficult as well. So most of my golden coconuts are going to come from trades with the island trader. You can trade in 10 coconuts for every golden coconut, and then I'm going to use my statues of endless fortune to buy all of those coconuts, because each statue of endless fortune on Linus's birthday produces a coconut, and I have 999 statues, so that's 100 golden coconuts each time. That's going to probably be where I get the majority. If I'm still falling behind, I can also use blue discus fish ponds, which have a pretty decent chance of giving a golden coconut when they're at 10. The ostrich incubator is a horrifying item. Basically, it requires 50 hardwood, 50 bone fragments, and 30 cinder shards for every ostrich incubator I craft. And that means to craft 1,000 of them, or 999 rather, I need 999 times 50 hardwood, 999 times 50 bone fragments, and 999 times 20 cinder shards. I'm at about 400 right now. Mummified frog and mummified bat. The mummified bat, I'm over halfway done with. It has a 1 in 200 chance to drop from any rock in the volcano mines. The mummified frog, I have about 60. It's just very slow. The only reasonable way to get a lot of them is to go to the harder mines on the jungle levels and break the darker colored weeds. And you have a 1 in 100 chance for every weed you break, I believe. Artifact troves. These are all done now, actually. So all the artifact troves, it required, I think, 28,000 artifacts troves, but I've gotten 999 of every artifact that you get from artifact troves. Are there any questions from chat? Anything that you guys feel like I forgot to talk about with the 999 challenge? Anything that could be added to? Who is this delightful little creature on my head? Oh, that's very important to the 999 lore. This is Sneakers, and then this is Sneaky. Sneakers was my childhood toy growing up. Basically my first imaginary friend when I was like, gosh, 2 or 3. I don't know how old I was. I still remember him though. I just kept him for my entire life. What's my opinion on sparkling tuna water? It's good. Does clothing stack? Clothing does not stack. There are a pretty large amount of items that just do not stack together. I do not have to collect 999 of each of those items. It's only the ones that stack together in a single stack that I need to collect. So for instance, if we look up here, you'll see a bunch of weapons in here, and these do not stack together. I can have 2 of them, and they will stay separated. Same thing goes for things like clothing. So I've got both of these clothings here, and both the skull shirts do not stack together. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope that I was able to explain well enough exactly what the challenge is I am doing here, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. I'm planning on releasing one more video before 1.6 comes out about the history of the challenge, basically everything I've done up until this point and how I got to where I am now. And then once 1.6 comes out, you can expect probably like close to 5 new videos related to that update. So until then, I will see you again next time. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, and I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.